Um, that's the basic kind of like situation or scenario where you just kind of, again, you want to write decent, um, you want to write decent like characters, decent concepts. You know, you want to be like people saying like, oh, we can do this, we can do that. You know, X, Y, Z, whatever, 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 basically. And the main problem is just that when it comes to writing this way, characters, stories, concepts, trying to, for lack of a better term, hold on,
Yes?
write characters and concepts and things for like in a better sense, or you know, like trying to write and be like, oh, you know, this and this, this and this, you know, blah 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 blah. You know, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the right word here. Trying to write like well written or well meaning, decent characters and you know everything of that nature. It you run into like considerable problems. You always run into like the inevitabilities of like, oh, this could have been better this way, this could have been better that way, you know, X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. Um, but that's sorry, I'm trying to think of the right word here. That's the best way to really put it at the end of the day. Um,
Hello, Apper Butt
yeah,
Sup, he says. Yeah, I agree with you, Rev.
nice to meet you.
I decided to change my
Thank you.
armor to be a blue honor guard, and this honor guard is my red honor guard as my buddy, because you can customize the armor.
Oh, okay.
Join the fight!
I also set it to easy mode just because I want to like blast through these enemies effortlessly. I rarely do this, but just for today, just to chill out, you know?
Yeah, I getcha. For the most part, really. Like I said, there are like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not even questionable things, but like again, when you try to write things, and again, I've said this many times before, is that when you try to write for characters, you try to write for like a world, a setting, anything of that nature, you're always going to run into problems. Things like, oh, how do you write a decent character? How do you make something that's relatable to everyone and all that sort of shit? And I think the biggest thing is that when you try to do this, when you try to write a character you know people like, I think people or the creatives wind up making the mistake of this is a character I like, and therefore it's going to be liked by others. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not how that works. You have to be more careful with how you write characters and how you um, create things.
Yeah.
I think would be the best way to really kind of like.
Also, in the chat, the guy says, I'm 40 and I still love playing Halo, so sup, bros. I just wanted to address this comment.
Again, that shows you the timeless quality of Halo when you really think about it.
I have a story about that. So today I was at my dad's restaurant and I used Steam Link to play Halo on the TV there. And there was like a bunch of like Gen X guys that came in and they were like saying, "Oh, is that Halo?" And I was playing Battle for Ontario and I had to be like, "Oh, it's my Halo mod." They were like so impressed by it. That's such a funny thing that happened.
Yeah, again, that's the beautiful thing about like creating things, doing mods, things of that nature, is because, um, like how do I put it? You always wind up surprising people, and people pick up on those things like, oh my god, this is like handcrafted, handmade. You know, there's more soul into what you're doing versus, oh, it's bullshit. It's just creating something because you're either paid for it or you don't give a shit. You're basically being like hired to do it. Like again, there's like a difference between the two things. We always see it with like fan mods and people who create things with passion. You know. But yeah, getting back to the whole writing problem again. This is what I think a lot of people again fail to understand, is that there are times where you just can't write a character everyone's gonna like. Sometimes you'll be successful, sometimes you won't. I think a good example of that, at least in my opinion, would have to be, um, what's it called? Um, Farscape. Farscape is a old sci-fi show. Again, I've probably mentioned a few times, but it bears repeating. And those characters were all extremely well written because it wasn't just one person in charge of everything being like, oh, I want this character to be like something I like. It was like again, as the nature of this thing is, it was a collaborative effort by multiple different people, everyone just kind of like coming together and creating something, that people would have enjoyed, people would have liked to see, et cetera, et cetera. And that's really where it kind of like boils down to. All the characters were written very, very specifically to fit that role. Sorry, let me rephrase that. To fit a very specific role, to fit a very specific niche, they were all supporting characters, but they also had their moments where they could shine. They could really show that, hey, this is my moment, and I'm gonna make the most of it, basically. It was rare, but there were those moments, and again, it's what made people, fall in love with it at the time, enjoyed the characters they had, especially characters like um,
Yeah,
Chiana.
Arba
Go ahead.
Arba Butt says Halo was written by rotten, depressed poets and Platonic writers. Halo is an epitome of Greek philosophy. Master Chief is the man who just chugs on with life. We don't get that quality of storytelling these days, he says.
Absolutely correct. What we get nowadays are characters who are just created to check a box, who are less written to be characters and more written to be an archetype that you just plaster on the back of the box, basically. Um, Again, like I think we saw it with like High Guard is like the biggest example, where essentially it's just exactly what I just said. All these characters in High Guard are just characters. They don't serve a grander narrative. They don't function as they should um, in anything. They're just created to fill space to basically be like, hey, here's this masked woman. Here's this berserker who rides on the back of a bear. Here's this. Here's that. There's no attempt to create anything of substance other than we're just knocking off things off a checkbox. We don't give a shit. We don't care. We're being paid by the hour to make this shit. So fuck off,
Yeah, a lot of them are just doing it for a 9 to 5 as well.
hmm Instead of understanding that, hey, we have an opportunity to make something impressive, to make something new, to um, get people interested in what we're creating. A lot of them just view it as another job, another paycheck. They don't care about what they're creating because at the end of the day, it a lot of it is like freelancers. It's no longer a collaborative effort. It's nothing like that. Like again, if we take Halo, right? This was created by Bungie. This was created by a group of people who wanted to make something worthwhile, and um, it was collaborative. Everybody cooperated. Everyone worked together. There was no like, I'm this, so you have to like, I know what's best. Blah 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 blah. None of that basically. It was everyone came to the office together. Everyone had a dream, a vision for where Halo was going to be or where it was going to go, and they stuck with it. And they wound up creating something that, for lack of a better term, okay, I'm gonna have to like change something here. For lack of a better term, transcended everything. Again, nowadays you don't get that. People just again come in to do the 9 to 5. They come in to work. They don't care about the collaborative effort to make the project or the product anymore. For them, it's just I'm here for a paycheck. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do that. These characters mean nothing to me. I don't care about creating something
I'm back, guys.
I don't care about creating something that will change the industry. I don't care about doing something that will make people truly impressed with my work or anything like that. It's literally just I'm here to plump out my resume and say I worked on this, and then move on with my day. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There's no care. There's no crafting. There's no like attempt to make it more than what it is.
Oh, Abra Butt says in Halo 4 when Master Chief lost Cortana, she says, "Welcome home, Jabba." I literally cry. She was the only thing he had. What she meant is the war's over, you're home, but you lost me. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's basically what she, it's a farewell from someone who knows they're not gonna make it. It's like the what's the word? The final like death rattle of someone who, like I said, who knows that they've reached the end, but they're not gonna be able to see it all the way through to the end, if that makes any sense. It's like again, it's like basically dying at the finish line of your adventure, and being able to see the distant shore and be like, we made it, and that's it. To use this as like analogous for a quick second, and I hate to use like fucking Dave Filoni crap, but it bears repeating. In the Bad Batch like TV series that Disney did, what's the word? What's the word? There's this like small little episode that focuses on no, bear with me a second. That focuses on Crosshairs, like coming to like a base with like a bunch of Imperials, and then they find this like facility where basically it's an old outpost that's been running for years by the Republic, basically getting no supplies, no equipment, no gear. Nobody's been coming out here to assist. It's just been they've just been told, make the most of it, protect the equipment, protect the gear, protect all the shit we have, and we'll come get you. Basically, that's what it is. And but they just there's this whole bit where they wind up basically the outpost gets attacked. They don't have enough men to defend it. Crosshair basically starts to form this like partnership with Mayday, the guy who the commander of this facility who's running the place, and basically what's the word? Basically, there's this moment where Mayday's been hit. He's been shot. Well, not shot, but like injured in like an explosion. He's alive, but he's injured and just barely clinging to life. And Crosshair basically like helps bring him back to the outpost, to the compound. He's basically like dragging him along towards the base again. That's basically what's happening. And by the time they reach it, Mayday basically succumbs to his injuries. He can't go on anymore, and he just dies before like help even arrives to him. And he, again, like I said, witnesses like the end of the journey, but can't be a part of that journey at this point. It's too late for him, basically.
Yeah. Aberbut says, I've watched Bad Batch 3 to 4 times. I understood it better every time I rewatched it.
Fair enough. My dislike from the Bad Batch mostly comes from the very clear fact that you have Dave Filoni
piece.
Yeah, exactly. Dave Filoni knowing that a lot of the older fans wants to see the Clone Rebellion, wants to see like, okay, how does this like tie into that? Because the Clone Rebellion was a big thing in the expanded universe. The clones were always kind of like a question that not everybody knew, and there was this like desire to see it. And keep in mind that the Clone Rebellion is mentioned in Battlefront 2. It had its limits, but it was able to like tell an interesting story, and a lot of people found that compelling enough to want to see it continue. And one of the biggest problems with it is that we never saw that happen. Basically, Filoni just, again, for lack of a better term, teases this frequently. He says things like, oh, or not even like teases things, but he basically is like, there'll be a Clone Rebellion, the Clone Rebellion will be a thing, yada 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 yada. Like it's constantly pushed in your face, and there's this constant like, what's the word? Implication that yes, they're going to do something. Yes, the Clone Rebellion is going to be a thing, You just have to be patient. You just have to be patient. You just have to be patient, and it just reaches that point where it never happens. Basically, they tease it at everything during the Clone Wars. They tease it during like the siege of like at the beginning, and then Camino gets completely, or sorry, Topeka City gets completely annihilated because, of course, um, what's the word? They tease it in like season two with this whole bit where it's like, oh, the clones are mastering, like mustering an army. You've got um, Gregor, being a part of it. Rex basically doing all this. You got Cody basically going rogue, and all this stuff. And it just by the end of season three, it's very clear that they have to wrap it up because the whole thing's just been shit canned because nobody was interested in following it because it was just building and building and building up to nothing. It was essentially a show about a bunch of clones, but it had no direction for its like first major season and then part of the second season. And by the time the third season rolled around, it was too late to do anything with the plot. And I've constantly said like the best thing that could have been done for that show, at least from my point of view, is if the show was just if it was just basically the Bad Batch finding a Jedi, as they did at like the beginning with the whole Kanan shit, and just focusing on that, where it's like the idea is that because they're specialized clones, they go rogue, they protect this Jedi, and the Jedi basically has to work with them to navigate the underground, while also um, keeping his identity completely secret and hiding the fact that he is a Jedi, which could lead into some interesting situations. Like he can't just say I'm a Jedi to get around like certain problems anymore. He can't
Uh,
flash his lightsaber. Like there are moments where he would probably like try to save someone who's being beat up, but he can't draw attention to himself now because if he does that, they'll um, what's the word? They'll know he's a Jedi and he'll get turned in. Like there's so many things you could have done with that angle, but again, this is the problem where you assume people like the Bad Batch because they're so interesting in terms of like their design, and you completely fail to realize that the reason why the people like the Bad Batch is because they played off of established characters and had something worth following with them, basically. A good example of this, I would say, would be how their introduction episode basically shows that sort of like unique back and forth bouncing where Wrecker, Hunter, Tech, and Crosshair are just basically doing their own thing. You see how they um, interact with the um, Anakin and Cody and Rex or sorry, Rex for the most part, and essentially how they're basically trying to what's the word? Do an operation, and you see how the rigidity of what's the word? The rigidity of the clone command under normal circumstances is not how they operate, how they take on more risky operations, how Anakin basically kind of rubs off on them slightly in terms of like his like approaches to things and things of that nature. And you saw in the show that there was something to them. That's why people really liked them because it wasn't because they were what's the word? Interesting characters on their own. Far from it. It was because um, people liked the interactions. They were side characters in somebody else's story, but they were well written side characters, and people liked them. That was the main point of contention, I would say, where, um, or sorry, not point of contention, but like the main point of how it was and what people liked, basically. And the problem, again, like I said, really stems from the fact that on their own, these guys cannot carry the show. And again, they tried to make it work with, Omega. Um, they tried to make her the central kind of like the linchpin for the group, and try to make her, vital to the team in some way, shape, or form. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think she could work in that.
Rev, there's a
Um,
few live stream
mm,
comments. So,
go ahead.
Aberbut says Crosshairs begins to discover his humanity since his loyalty to establishment was worthless. Discover his humanity. DMD says I was confused at first and realized this was a mod. Aberbut says Lucas clone rebellion idea got shit canned. Filoni tried to salvage it. Bad Batch is like A-Team clones are just basic runs, very different operational liberties. So yeah, that's what was said.
Right. And he's not wrong in like a lot of that. Again, this is the problem with like Lucasfilm shit canning the EU, and that's something I'll never forgive them for. But again, there's the problem I think is that they don't. There's nothing established for the Bad Batch to do in the early seasons. They're working for Sid, and a lot of these little like adventures are just that, little adventures. And I think the biggest fault of that is the problem when, again, and I'm going to use Mass Effect as an example. The reason why Mass Effect 2 starts 2 years after the events of 1 is, obviously aside from, what's the word? Aside from Shepard, just dying in space, is because by the end of Mass Effect 1, the galaxy's shaken up, the status quo is completely out the window. There's nothing established to work with. You're just kind of like flying around, and everything's just a little too, I'm not gonna say too nice, but like not clear. There is very clear problems here and there. Basically there's a lot of like inconsistencies, let's call it. And it wouldn't be enough to like establish like a proper story, because again, with all this like, oh, the Reapers are coming, there would be no time to establish like a push and flow of like society, a push and flow of like, hey, this is like what life is normally supposed to be like, blah 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 blah, basically. And that's the biggest pitfall / shortcoming I think would be is what they successfully managed to avoid, in my opinion, when it comes to this. The issue again that mostly stems from this is when you have this whole thing with like, oh, the Bad Batch basically being clone A-Team, basically having like the rigidity of the clones and everything like that, is simply the fact that, again, it's too new. The Empire is just being established. There is no Jedi to follow.
To add on to that, I'm really upset they did not use the phase-free clone troopers from the Force Unleashed, because those were supposed to be what the 501st used, but instead they had these TK troopers, which is like the clone, like, if they were going to do like a clone rebellion arc, they should have had the Empire allied clone troopers where the phase free and the rebellion ones use phase 2. That's what they should have done, but they didn't use the phase frees, which really sucks, because the phase 3 is my favorite armor. It's like a mix of stormtrooper and clone trooper, and it's a shame it only appeared in one game and a few like mods.
Yeah. And again, I'm with you on that one. There's so much potential that was like just pushed to the wayside. Like nothing continued. It was just kind of like, again, it was, I'm trying to think of the right word here. There's just so much that could have been done. And again, like I said, Bad Batch needed happen, or the Bad Batch needed to be set a little later after Order 66, at least a few months, at least long enough for things to have been like established with the new Empire, with them basically being like, yeah, we're in charge, we're evil, we're awful, whatever the case may be, and that way have this whole situation where them going rogue and them becoming like proper mercenaries actually makes sense, where it's not just, oh, we're here to we're just here and doing like random odd jobs for a criminal, and oh, we're just doing this and that, and only now we're getting involved with like everything else, basically. Again, I think that is the biggest like hurdle, the biggest shortcoming of that. And again, there are, how do I put it, things like the Force Unleashed did this concept well, because they essentially made it so, what's the word? They made it because, or sorry, it worked so well because you're not doing things immediately after Episode 3. Like you start with Vader killing the Wookiees, going to kill a Jedi, and then we've got like a 18 or so time jump after that, or like something around that ballpark. I want to say like where Starkiller's grown enough, the Empire's been established enough to be a threat. You have like the groundwork already sort of established, but it's not completely done yet. There is still a lot that can be done, a lot of like groundwork that hasn't been fully established yet. And I think that's the biggest things that made the Force Awakens, or sorry, the Force Unleashed work so well. Even Force Unleashed 2 doesn't take that it takes place a little further ahead, but not that much. At least like not like Luke isn't established yet. There's still like a lot that can be done here. And again, that's the brilliance of like setting your story a little further ahead of time, or not making it immediately after, unless it doesn't work that way, or unless the story doesn't work, be setting it so soon after major events, basically. Again, that's just my take on the Bad Batch.
Yeah, and he says, first season's like Rambo, but before coming home, the state does not command unquestionable loyalty. It face mortality crosshairs is the opposite. What happened to the soldiers in old times is portrayed as the clone troopers story sect like World War II or Vietnam vets. Tech is the most practical and realistic person just surviving but ready to sacrifice him. And indeed he does. So he's talking about that stuff.
Right. Yeah, again, the characters are there. Like, there is characterization. I'm not saying the Bad Batch are just like planks of wood that are like, oh my god, there's no character there. No, I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm saying that they do have character. The problem is that they're not, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're not leading character material, basically. You've got, again, each one of them has their moments, each one of them has their sort of thing, but the thing about them is that they're a team, they're a squad, they're the composition of a whole person, for the lack of it, and what I think they're missing is a proper center. And again, I think Omega doesn't fit that too well, because even though they set her up to be this sort of like brilliant child prodigy sort of individual, someone who's like learning to live just as they're learning to live outside of war, outside of like because she was born in the lab, she's only ever known the labs on Camino, and now she's had a chance to like actually experience the galaxy and everything like that. The problem I think is that due to the fact that she's just a child, she's so young, causes her to be kind of like the source of they're all in it to make sure she's okay and to like ensure that she's got like a future, because that's kind of like the goal, the message in all this, and that's completely fine. But again, it's missing that.
Ratchard, I'm streaming before you say something retarded.
Damn it! Why are you even in general then?
Because we were talking normally, and I wanted to stream the firefight waterworks.
It's fine. I was gonna say, I met my cousin's. No, I was visiting my cousin today.
I see. Oh, so
Yeah,
Aberbrut says the Omega is the only thing that binds them together by giving them radically different they have radically different personalities. They just want to hang to that idea. I guess that's what he's explaining Omega's purpose.
Again, he's not wrong. That's kind of the point. She is the core that keeps them together, because again, she brings that perspective of innocence, that sort of like, she hasn't been, what's the word? The world hasn't eroded her down, basically, and it's that uniqueness that keeps them all together, basically. But again, like I said, it's also the fact that, like, I keep saying this over and over again, is that even though she's supposed to be that core, I don't think it works within the stories they're trying to do, this establishment they're trying to set up. It feels like a complete mess, like a sort of, we rushed to get this story out, we rushed to do this, we rushed to get the characters kind of like to this point. And that's like the general theme, I would say, about the Bad Batch, is that you have all this potential, you have these great characters, you have these amazing story concepts and everything, and it doesn't flow as it should. There's missing chunks here and there. There's a very clear through line that is barely making it through. There's this like pressure to do everything in a specific way, to set up specific things, to get X, Y, and Z started, and all that sort of stuff. And again, I think it's simply because of the fact of, two things. One, that the Bad Batch was supposed to appear more in the Clone Wars season 7 originally, before the Lucas, before the Dark Times, before Disney came along. Um, so you had that, and we have, like, I think one or two animatics for the animation animatics for 3D that weren't fully completed. That has the Bad Batch like fighting on Kashyyyk, aiding the Wookiees, all that sort of thing. And very clearly, they were supposed to be sort of like, again, the sort of like commandos you call in for like crazy over the top missions to deal with all that sort of shit. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm just saying that you can tell where the cuts came in, where a lot of these stories were probably repurposed and repackaged, and because of that, you had to rewrite a lot of what these episodes may have had, and the flow doesn't go as it should. There's like hitches here and there. You see the instances where you see the through line, and it doesn't connect as it should.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Again, there's like I keep saying this. There's potential. That's the constant in this situation. There's potential. There's potential. There's potential. But that's all I can say about it. There's not much else to the Bad Batch. That that I can say like, yeah, this is up shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. Obviously, I'm sure other people have, as we see here, there are other people who very clearly have their own takes on it. And
yeah, there's another thing. If she wasn't there, the batch would have just fallen apart. Fuss, no batch, everyone just doing their own thing. Plus, Omega brings a human aspect none of them have, which is an individual choice humanity. So that's another thing I said.
Exactly. No, and I agree. To a certain degree.
Oh, did you see what I posted in the group chat?
No.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Again, I'm not disagreeing with that. She does bring that focus of humanity to it. I'm not taking that, for lack of a better term, I'm not taking that away from her. She does have that going for her. And again, I would say somewhat there is friction between the characters in that, but the team is already reaching that point where they're questioning things, but like fully fracturing, I still think that Hunter and the rest would have probably stuck together just simply by the nature of like, hey, we just do things together. That's kind of our thing. But again, that's just my take on that. Again, what's the word? Filoni's Star Wars has come up with, again, great ideas, or let me rephrase that. It has come up with interesting concepts, great characterization here and there. There have been like moments where he's shown to be capable of doing that, but I think again what causes these problems, or what, not even problems, but I think the issues are mostly that he tries to convert Star Wars into something he wants specifically, and while I believe he understands part of like Lucas's vision, his ideas, and things like that, it's a case of like just misrepresenting it again, and much in the same way to like, again, we're going to use Metal Gear as a example. This whole situation with like the boss and understanding her will and what leads to that situation, and everything of that nature, basically. Again, I think Filoni has an idea he wants to do with Star Wars. He has a very clear direction he wants to take the franchise in, and I don't think that's
He says
Again, maybe
no matter how much they hate each other, at certain points they are still family, like how Omega brings Crosshairs and Brokers a peace between them all. That's what he says as well.
I wouldn't say that per se. It's more the case that Crosshair was, I think, in my opinion, always going to kind of come back to them simply because of everything else he's going through at the time. Because again, the whole thing with Mayday, dying, the fact that the Empire very clearly does not give a shit about their soldiers, unlike the Republic. The fact that, again, his ideals are being not even questioned, but like his ideals are being put under a microscope. He's not as like straightforward, and I think at some point he would have probably either reconciled or just said like, fuck it, I'm gonna go my own way, I'm gonna be, fucking base mercenary and all that sort of thing. That's my take on it, and honestly, I dislike some things in the Bad Batch, and again, I'll just keep hammering on it. It has its moments, it has its potential, but I think it just has more hindering it than it does have things that actually help it. Again, that's just my take on it. As for, like I said, with the rest of Filoni, like I said, he has very clearly an idea where he wants Star Wars to be and where he thinks Star Wars should be, and that's, fine and dandy. Again, my issue is mostly with how he treats other creators, not even treats other creators, but how he treats their works, how he has a bad habit of retconning events or changing things that occur.
Or making lesser versions of events or characters from Legends.
Right, and it's becoming more and more apparent that he's writing Star Wars in his version, his way, and it's causing, again, it's leading to more division, it's more problems, and again, when you're in charge of something, you can do it however the hell you want. I'm not saying you can't do that. What I am saying is that, when you do this, when you go about it in this particular way, people, and you start like decanonizing or retconning other people's work, or changing events to better suit a story you want to say, it's a slap in the face of a lot of people who from this shit. Because why, like, I guess the best way to put it would be, why would I spend all this time and effort writing a story for a franchise, and I'm passionate about it, I want to see it like progress, I want to see it succeed, I'm like on board 100%, and I put all this work, I put all this effort in, and then suddenly some other like person above me, not even like my equal, but someone above me or something else like that, comes in and says, fuck you, I'm changing these events and I'm making all that work you did invalid because I want to do this in my way. You don't want to stick around with that. You would want, I think a lot of people would just feel like, personally betrayed, personally like told, go fuck yourself. Like, obviously he's not saying that to people, but I would say that that's the vibe a lot of people would get from that, simply because of how Filoni is taking the approach with Star Wars and these sort of like creative decisions, basically.
Also, in the chat, he asks, "What do you think about the Ahsoka series?" I haven't watched it, and I don't know. I kind of just dropped off Star Wars when I saw how shitty Book of Boba Fett was. And he asked, Disney is stockholder money, Lucas was private, stockholders don't like to lose money, so such are creative liberties. I don't know.
And as such, affects creative liberty. Yeah, I gotcha. The Ahsoka show, I was greatly disappointed in, and it's mostly because you had, again, this is a recurring theme, potential. And I think one of the biggest things that I think pissed me off the most was giving Sabine the Force, basically creating her into a Jedi. And I think that was the worst thing to do. Again, Mandalorians and Jedi have been enemies for a while, as long as the Sith and the Jedi have been enemies. But what makes the Mandalorians fighting Jedi interesting and shows their capabilities is the fact that they use their equipment, they use their wits, they lack the ability to use the Force. That doesn't mean they lack the ability to use other things to fight. They have repulsor gauntlets, they have the ability to like call their weapons back with them, gauntlet shields, jetpacks to put distance, weapons that can basically either nullify a Jedi's lightsaber or make it more difficult to fight. And we've seen it like countless times. Again, if you want an example, Jango Fett versus Obi-Wan, and how basically that kind of shows that even like how he fought him, basically keeping his distance, firing the two blasters at him, basically keeping him off his guard, getting as much distance as you can, firing a rocket at his feet, not at him to throw him off. All that stuff. I think when they go into the hand-to-hand situation, he's able to hold his own. And again, the advantages are he keeps using his equipment. Now, obviously, he did wind up somewhat losing the fight. Lost the jetpack, nearly fell off the side simply because he lassoed Obi-Wan's hands. Missed the shot to basically kill him. All that sort of thing. Like again, you see it in the fight. There are strengths and weaknesses of both sides. And again, the fact that a normal person, a guy wearing combat armor, was able to take on a Jedi Knight, one who's extremely prolific in the Force and capable, is something to be, is an impressive feat and not something you scoff at easily. Again, it's the same with the other Mandalorians. How Mandalorians have always just generally been shown in Star Wars and everything of that nature. The problem is that when you try to make Sabine a Force sensitive, you invalidate a lot of what it is to be a Mandalorian from that perspective. You automatically make all her training, all this like struggle she goes through, pointless because you give her the magic I win butter.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yep. Rev, it's Atriox. He's a boss fighting a boss Atriox. Never mind, I killed him. Okay. The banished.
Banished are now leaderless. Yay. Yeah, that's.
Looks like it's in the new design.
I guess that's kind of my point.
I'm gonna steal his
and that's
hammer.
not even counting like the other like. Gonna start hitting you with this mace. And again, that's not accounting for other issues with the Ahsoka show in general. Like, again, the fact that Sabine just gets stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber, just can walk it off because you can do that. It's like a normal sword. The fact that they make Thrawn. There's how do I put it? The fact that they have Thrawn in this, and They do the classic mistake of the guy speaks calmly, therefore you think he's smart. When in reality, it's like no, the strategy he's employing makes no sense. The fact that losing these kind of numbers is not a good thing. You know where the enemy is. You could tackle this with the severity and gravitas that it has, rather than trying to play some mind game. With this person, when again you know very clearly and very well that this is someone who trained under one of the best generals the Republic ever had during the Clone Wars, you should again afford that sort of seriousness and gravitas that someone like Ahsoka, for lack of a better term, demands. And again, it doesn't happen. You see again these shortcomings in the writing more than anything. Again, there was so much you could do with this. There's so much that could work with it, but again, it's poor writing choices, poor decisions, very clearly like kind of trying to do something new and unique, but completely, again, missing the ball completely, rather than like getting the slam dunk.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't really. What's the word? I can't really speak on, the rest of the show. Well, let me rephrase that. I can't speak on the rest of the show in terms of like, aside from like the visuals and things like that. There is some interesting ideas, some interesting concepts. You have, again, an attempt to, what's the word? You have an attempt to do something interesting with it. I did like the idea that Thrawn's forces are very clearly just the remnants. Um, they are desperately trying to keep fighting, desperately trying to push forward and keep going. And you can very clearly see that their equipment is breaking. They're trying to like hold it together with fabrics and cloths. I wouldn't be surprised if their blasters didn't, were like on their last legs or anything like that. Like these were not bad concepts, not bad ideas, by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was like pretty much on point, and that's something I always like to see when the remnant force actually looks like a remnant force and not just, oh,
First order.
we just put a little dirt on it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Exactly, that too. Good lord, first order.
I mean, that's what I'm going to be doing with the Storm Covenant.
And they put
I've already
zombies in that.
succeeded with the
That's right.
Banished.
That's good.
Oh no, yeah, the night system.
yeah,
I mean, you've
Magic
seen my
and the
mods,
storm
right,
troopers and
Rev?
the zombies.
Like,
Go ahead.
you've seen my mods about, like, Halo XT 20 years after
Yeah,
like,
we've
Halo
played them.
3, so you know how I do the, like, Covenant Remnant factions. Like, the Banished are clearly their own thing, and the Storm Covenant will feel like a proper remnant of the Covenant.
Right. Again, like if you're going to do this, and I've always kind of like had this approach to like stories in general. It's like if you're going to do this, if you're going to have what's the word I'm looking for here? If you're going to have a remnant faction, right, and they are exactly as you imagine, they should feel like a remnant faction. They should be like the remains. We should see, what's the word? How they struggle, how they try to do things, how their equipment, their gear, their armament, their bases, all of this is like in shambles or ruins, or they're trying to like make the best of what's left. Again, I point to things like Gears of War 3, for example, and how everybody is like on their last legs. Everyone is just building up their equipment. All the armor is just like sleeveless. Especially with the Locust, you see like everything stitched together. The fabrics are all held together with like intricate like pieces of armor here and there. There is like a very clear attempt to make to give them like gear and equipment again. And
the Therons are
you got all this going on, and like I said, it's nice to see, and it's great to have that sort of like what's the word? That visual like cue that shows like, yeah, they are very much a remnant. They are not at their peak of power anymore. They are struggling to keep going, and this what you're seeing is what's left of them basically. Hold on, let me check my thing here.
Unless they're with the Queen.
Sorry, bear with me for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and the Theron Guard's armor went red to white.
Oh, Aberbutt says Rebels Season 2 finale episodes are just a prequel to Ahsoka. I really like how Anakin just says, telling Ahsoka, I'm teaching you how to survive.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that, and that's mostly because, and this goes back to a problem with what's the word? A problem with oh good lord, bear with me a second. The the oh god, hold on. The whole situation with making episode 7, or sorry, not episode 7, basically making Order 66 less and less and less effective. And this is more of a problem I have with how they've handled Order 66 since the Lucas days, and that's
Here's Order
basically
66 from the
where
perspective
the idea
of
where Jedi
Ahsoka being
survived.
boned.
Well, it's more to this effect. It's that basically you had, again, Order 66 was supposed to be something that caught many Jedi off guard, and again, to quote the 5 and First Journal, it's like suddenly we realized the Jedi could be fooled, and if they could be fooled, they could be killed. And it was like the big thing about Order 66 is that it was a mass deception, and very, like, almost all the Jedi fell for it, because who would expect your own troops to betray you, when you've been fighting for them for like 4 years, basically. But what made it interesting is that when you had Jedi who survived Order 66, these were like the most unusual outliers who made it, who had the foresight not to distrust the clones, but to sense something in the Force and act accordingly, or putting preventative measures in place leading up to it. A good example of this would be General Ron Coda from the Force Unleashed games, and how basically during those games is basically like when you're going after Coda, what's the word? Juno and Foxy gives the overview and explains who the target is, General Ron Coda, and basically it's revealed to you that Coda never had any clones in his in his squadrons or anything of that nature. He counted on his own personal militia to fight. So when Order 66 happened, he was never caught because Order 66 wouldn't have infected him. Or the Master Kruth from the old canon, the white furred, giant face, kind of like ape-like man, and how he survived with his Padawan. Basically, like, they just managed to slip away, and both of them just gave up on being Jedi, just vanished into the crowd, living their lives in general isolation. Again, it was these small moments. And even then, if you survived Order 66, there was no guarantee you were going to make it through the rest of the era, like post Order 66. We have plenty of stories of Vader hunting down Jedi himself, killing them, and like the number just getting smaller and smaller as he just keeps butchering more and more Jedi. We had this constant what's the word? This constant funneling of them dying and witnessing that. And that's, again, it's what made Order 66 so interesting. Nowadays, almost everybody's surviving. It's like, at this point, what was the point of Order 66? Like, most of the Jedi we follow or see survive it. And it's gone from a handful of relative nobodies to now just everyone and their grandmother who could wield a lightsaber. Basically, Barriss Offee, the fucking Inquisitors, the Grand Inquisitor basically being a Jedi, a guardian of the Jedi Temple, Ahsoka Tano now, basically, because of this whole "I'm going to train you how to survive" bullshit. What is it? Who else? Aiden Jarrus, a little fucking kid at the time. All the shit. Again, there's just a number that doesn't reflect the severity of it all. And I think that's the biggest problem with it. It's just that it's gone from a relative nuanced, interesting sort of thing to just, they just somehow inexplicably knew what to do. And, that's how they made it, basically. And frankly, I've grown to kind of to just annoyed with how Disney's handled Order 66 in its entirety.
This.
Hold on, it says. I'm just reading what he says.
So.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you're reading it now? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I noticed that you're busy doing your stream, and I didn't want you to like keep.
Well, I've just been
Talking what
so
you're doing,
like
you know, you'll get
zoned
talked
in
to.
on just killing all these fucking banished bastards. In fact, you know what? I want to play one of my mods now. It's been
Yeah.
an hour. I'm gonna play. Well, by the way, I found out the issue.
Alright.
I just didn't have enough space to update the mod, so I have to get space, and to do that, I'm gonna have to upload one of my like larger Halo 4 clips to YouTube, but I can't do that right now, so we'll have to try City Under Siege later. So.
I see, no worries. Right. So his statement is, this would make sense if you want to pull out characters out of thin air, so there could be more merchandise to sell, and more or less, basically. And that basically just kind of became the case. Is like nowadays, you know, that's the worst of it. Really, is that Disney's just basically just how do I put it? They're either poaching characters from the expanded universe and making them less interesting because they have to conform to something completely different, or they're creating characters out of thin fucking air because, oh, we need them to sell this, we need them to do that, we need to do all this sort of shit. And it's like, oh, for God's sakes. It's annoying to say the least, and that's especially the case. I'm just, you know, I'm just angered by it, basically.
Yep.
That's just me.
Just understand.
Again, it just kind of goes back to the point where it's like that you can Oh, sorry. Like I said, you can very clearly see that Disney is trying to make Star Wars into something that, you know, first and foremost, it's gone from something that everyone could have enjoyed to like a hyper specific, almost parody like state of what it used to be. Creating characters that are incredibly uninteresting or very poorly written. Again, fucking Rey, and that whole situation with that. Or just creating stories that make no sense. Again, one of the shows I know that nobody gives a shit about, or nobody has really talked about, I should say. Star came out to watch that. Nobody cared about that. It had like 2 seasons and then it completely died.
And
you know, so you had that going on.
yeah, it's like it's just the only thing that I found interesting was the gold armor guy.
Hmm. Oh yeah, the like captain, and it's literally he doesn't even get like his own proper like anything. Again, I never watched the series to completion, and I, not for lack of trying, let me throw that out there. I did. I tried so fucking hard to watch this show multiple times, and I couldn't get past the first episode because the main character, or sorry, the what, I can't remember his fucking name, but the main character is such a whiner that it made me want to pull my beard out and basically like, you know, just jump off the roof. Basically, he was so obnoxious. He was like the epitome of like me. And again, there was something there. There was the concept of like he's the son of a senator, so yeah, he's like used to getting his way and shit. You could have done something with that. Instead, it's like nah. He remains the butt monkey throughout the entirety of Resistance. And even then, Resistance just, again, it's a recurring theme here, fumbles the ball so hard. Again, you've got the concept of, you know, like post Return of the Jedi, pre whatever you want to call it, like, you know, combat racing in the sky. You've got a fucking, what's it called? A race station, which used to be like an imperial like outpost shit, and the place is basically run by the former commander. That outpost now turned governor. Like, you've got all this going on. You have the First Order basically just like leaning in and being like, oh, we can help you, and actually like trying to be subversive, trying to like infiltrate and do all this shit. You've got them actively like working with the pirates who are like trying to take over this place and basically betraying them for optics sakes, like literally doing the whole hostage crisis of like, oh, we'll work with you to get like this girl, and then we'll immediately betray you and not tell you because we want the girl to trust us, so we'll make it look like we're rescuing her, even though we put her in harm's way. All the shit basically, and that's all you've got. And then season 2, it's just fucking fuck it. It's stupid, it's retarded. It basically jumps off a cliff and never recovers from it. It's basically that's what it's called, the Colossus. Basically, the Colossus is now being chased by the First Order because now it's space born, basically. And they're just going from place to place, basically running away from the First Order until they eventually just come back to the fucking planet they started in, because now is the time to fight back and do like a great final stand. Yeah, no, he's right. Resistance is for younger audiences, but I think that's even more insulting to younger audience because, like, as much as people want to say like kids are dumb, it's like they're dumb, yeah, but they are discerning, and if they don't care about something, they're not gonna ask their parents to buy them stuff, which means the company doesn't make money. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, isn't it?
God, how beautiful this fucking map is.
I want to make stuff that's like, oh yeah, isn't it? Again, on the one hand, you want to do something to buy the merchandise, but then by the time you also don't want to make it so incredibly stupid and obnoxious that they don't want to buy the stuff. So it's like, shit, what do we do? It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Big time.
Man, I can't get no one to play
Resistance was honestly awful, and I just wanted to bash my head into the wall with how bad it was. Again, just everything about the sequel trilogy. It just sucks. I'm not even saying that to be like funny or cute. I mean it in like the most general sense I possibly can. It really just sucks. Now you've got shit with what's it called? The good example of this is like EA Battlefront 2 and the story that had, how it had to like force the episode 8 plot into itself. And you can tell they were being like pressured by fucking EA and Disney to do that. What's it called? How poorly that story was done, how they do this whole bit where it's like, oh, the First Order, like, kidnapping children, we never follow up on that plot, they never, like, actually save the kids. There's nothing, there's nothing of substance there, the fact that it's, like, 4 fucking missions, and then it just ends, for crying out loud. And by the way, I went through that, I played the DLC, and I was so monumentally out of it. I just wanted to drink. There's this whole like, basically for the final mission, you basically have to like detonate or set up charges to detonate the hyperdrive, so that way the ship gets like pulled out of hyperspace violently. And in order to like set it up or like climb it or something like that, your daughter, the daughter of the main protagonist, I should say, has to like go into this big room in the middle of the reactor with like 2 openings on either side, and then start like working her tech magic to like get it primed, basically. And in this entire scene, I'm just I tried to protect her, and every time I did, the enemy would just spawn in and start like shooting her, and I just got like caught in a loop where it's like he would start up the hack. What's the word? Oh good lord, she would start the hacking process, get like like a little bit of the percentage away, and then suddenly somebody was like some stray stormtrooper shot would hit her fucking toe, and she'd like stop, get her gun out, and start shooting with you. It's like, could you stop? Like that was the first time I think the game had actually forced me to engage with it more seriously than anything else. And again, half of the game I couldn't care. Everything about it was boring. Everything about it was uninteresting. I hated or Aiden, or how the fuck she pronounces her name. I hated her fucking super beta male husband. Like, I hate to say that, but that really is what he is. He's like, he has low testosterone, even for being like a fucking special forces stormtrooper. Just so bitch made, it's not even funny. I couldn't bring myself to care about like what was happening with the plot. I just so incredibly like it was surreal, because usually when I play a game, I at the very least try to what's the word? I try to get involved in some way, shape, or form. I try to like get myself in the headspace and be like, oh my god, we're gonna do this. We're gonna save the galaxy or whatever, right? And here, no, I was just mashing my way through everything. I was just like, how do I put it? I wanted to move on to the next part just to get this over with. Like, I was just shooting my way through all the enemies. I had found the exploit. I was gonna stick with it like fucking glue, which is basically like literally every enemy can instantly be killed with a headshot with any fucking weapon you've got. They just tumble over. So I just parked my ass somewhere in like the corner of a map. Oh yeah, remember the original story of the 2000s? Yeah, as it should be. You should only remember those, because those are the only ones that exist.
Yep.
But yeah, it just boiled down to me parking my fat ass in like one fucking corner of the map, and just waiting for the enemy to literally charge at me, and then I just like pop, 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 pop. I didn't bother with any of like the other weapons as much as I wanted to. I literally couldn't enjoy half the blasters because they all function the same. It's the same fucking thing. You shoot a little bit, it overheats, you gotta wait a few seconds for a mini game to play, so you can then push a button either quick enough to like instantly reload the weapon, or get like a slightly stronger boost in damage, because that's how that works. I just couldn't care. I honestly couldn't care, like, at all. I just wanted the game to be over. I wanted it to end. I wanted to be done with Aiden's fucking bone ride,
like
whatever you want to call it.
AIDS.
I just... God. I just couldn't care. Just could not care about what I was doing. And that's never happened to me before. Like I said, I always tried to be Mr. like, oh my god, yeah, let's play the adventure. Oh, I can get involved in this like situation. You know, I've always been, you know, Mr. Positive whenever, like, as hard as it sounds from like what I'm saying, I've always tried to be like that. But here, no, I just couldn't. I legitimately could not care about what I was going through. It was the most unfun experience I've ever played, and I've played Hunt Down the Freeman.
Are you saying Hunt
I know
Down
what true
Freeman
suffering
was...
is.
Oh my, Rev.
Oh yeah, the PSP one. Yeah, that was ooh, God, that was a game. It still annoys me that we didn't get a proper Battlefront continuation. It was just EA rehashing bullshit nobody really cared about. I'm just disappointed. Honestly, I'm just disappointed.
Holy shit,
I've
this is
uninstalled the game
cool.
completely. I've like blacklisted.
The Phantom is like given a spotlight.
I've blacklisted the. Oh yeah, yeah, kind of like well, from the ODST, you know, the trailer, what was it? It's not Hope. It's like the Oh god, I keep forgetting what the trailer for ODST was called.
Prepare to
But you know
drop.
the one I'm talking about. No, the other one where you're in when the ODST is like actually on the ground
We are
and he's in
ODST.
New Mombasa. You know, he's like hiding from the boots. Yes, that's the one.
Hi, Talcha. My connection's delayed, so sorry if this is delayed.
Hello. Like I said, overall, I just hate the shit.
Hate you.
Well, on the topic, I can't bring myself to even remotely care about some other characters either. Yeah, I'm just glad that the fucking she-demon is gone. I'm glad that Kathleen just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna leave now." You know what I think it is? Honestly,
What?
I think it's because of the whole Epstein files becoming public. That's what I think is what caused it. Now, I'm not saying Bob Iger was on the files, at least as far as we know. But, that being said, it's a little convenient, at least to me, that Kathy leaves Lucasfilm after more of like the information becomes publicized and, you know, some of it becomes decensored because people found workarounds.
Check your DM, bud, says Talcha. Hold on, I gotta shoot these fire hunters' tanks and kill them.
Fire Hunter. Fire.
I'm taking it slow in
did you try them?
Helljumpers. I'm just exploring this open world I made, and because I've never really taken it in as much, you know. I'm just trying to chill out tonight, and tomorrow we'll go back to work on the, animation.
No, I don't doubt him. Yeah. To answer his statement, no, yeah, outsourcing, I think, is what's killing gaming nowadays, because they're treating it just like people outsourcing work to, like, movie studios and things like that, like saying, like, oh, I'm gonna go over here to fucking India to film a film, that kind of shit. That's exactly what's, like, I would say is killing the gaming industry as a whole, is just outsourcing, calling in freelancers who don't give a shit, basically having, what's the word? People who, again, are just in it for the job and, all that sort of stuff. Shit. There's no attempt to do anything, I don't want to say with artistic value, because that's such a cop-out response. But, people aren't doing things
Rev.
for the passion, for the interest anymore. We've got...
So in Talcha was sending me, he improved the H2A model and fixed their fucking horse hooves and their mandibles a bit. He actually fixed the issues that they had, so that's what he sent me in DMs.
Oh. Okay, send it to me and I'll take a look.
Did he actually make them look like the elites from Halo Wars, I wonder?
Here,
Let me check this as well.
I'll send it to Corey and Rev.
Down the Warthog. Come on.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's using the Combat
I'm
Evolved
playing Combat
animations.
Evolved,
Now, I still,
good.
when it comes to I don't mind the H2A elites, but when it comes to a remaster, I like the Jordan Spartans the best. Like, these hunters are just completely based off CE.
Yeah, right. I prefer the stuff in H2A, mostly because I just like the models. I love how the elites look. This, to me, will always be what the default species is, at least in my mind. I love how the boots look as well. Hunters look great. Like, everything in H2A is I think you'll never be able to top that. Like, hey, I do like Halo Infinite's designs to a certain degree. I do think that they're fine. Like, they're not my best designs I like, but it's something I tangentially like, basically. But that's just me, basically. Again, I'm just throwing it out there.
Friendly motion tracker signals are
Yeah.
on the radar. It's like someone
As for the rest, like I said, it's just a shame that Halo's just been treated so poorly. I'm tempted to make a video and with the title of like, well, something inflammatory that basically says like, the books killed Halo, or
Master
Halo, a
Chief
franchise
style?
corrupted by the books.
Yep.
Like it's the raped?
I totally double down on
No,
it going on.
I mean, I might use his humor, but I want to be more like, I want to be taken a little seriously with like my argument.
Yeah,
Like, not
especially the
completely,
books
but
that
you know
make
what I mean.
Spartan 3 is literally useless. Yeah, I hate those books too.
Like enough to be like, oh, he knows like this weird guy from Takes who understands what he's saying, you know, or he's articulate enough to say or make it make sense.
Yeah, that goes to Onyx book. Like, the only thing worth salvaging is probably Onyx, and that's about it.
I'm just hopping between the two.
Yeah, that whole thing with the
You
Spartan
guys
3
played
thing
Splinter
and
Cell,
the-
Ghost Recon, SWAT 4, etc. Even the first Assassin's Creed game. Asking to check the detector. I played the first Assassin's Creed when I was much younger. Oh Jesus Christ! Look at that thing. Sorry, I just saw the other thing he sent. Fucking amen. That's amazing. Love it.
What did he send?
God, I wish I could port things to like Gary's mod because I would, honest to God, check the voice chat chat the thing next to the elite.
Oh yeah, the Refrissa. Or Rats, as he's calling him.
The rat, yes. Yes, rat. Again, I
your
wish I
YouTube
could port
guys
things to
talk
Gary's
about
mod because I would like it respectfully. I would port all the things he's done to Gary's mod so fans could be like, hey, check this thing out, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just me. But to answer the other question, yes. I have played the first Assassin's Creed game. I've actually, fun fact, I played all of the ones from what I like to call the original Assassin's Creed. And by that I mean like the original like Desmond stuff up to a certain degree. I played the original Assassin's Creed. I played Assassin's Creed 2. I played Brotherhood. I forget what the next one after that was called. I think it's like not Legacy, but something else entirely. Then I played Assassin's Creed 3. I didn't do a lot of Black Flag. Well, no, let me correct that. I did do some of Black Flag just to get an idea like what the Kenway bloodline was like to a certain degree, and that was it. I stopped with the franchise, and I think I dodged a bullet there because all the shit I heard afterwards was like, okay, but what happened with the Animus? Why are we talking about like all this? Why are we going back to like fucking what's it called? The fucking oh Christ.
Well,
The fucking
Talchus says anything
Age
he
of
makes is
Vikings.
open source.
Oh, okay.
The rats are ported to free and ready to go. Wait, Talsha, can I have them? I wouldn't mind putting them in the snow map I'm working on. I'd give credit, of course.
I just looked at the pictures.
It's because unlike other
will
people, we're
say
not
the
assholes.
Yeah.
I will say the fleet is a good fix and a good improvement.
Pointing at us nowhere, Steve. Sorry, that's just something I like to say whenever I think about giving people credit.
I think their mandibles need to be shaped just
That's
like
kind
the.
of, sorry, lost my train of thought there. I stopped
Basically,
caring
it's
about Assassin's Creed. I think again I dodged a bullet with that, especially with like what became of Assassin's Creed later on with the franchise. I think, like I said, there was not. I think it didn't wind up in a good place, at least from what I've seen here and there, and you know what I heard from like, oh good lord, what's it called? Fucking Shadows. You know, further confirmed this. Like, yeah, I think I did the right thing getting off Mr. Bones' wild ride, freaking back in like the early 2000s. But you know, as for Rainbow Six, no, I've never played the Rainbow Six games. mostly because it's never really been my thing.
Maybe.
I'm not, ironically, I'm not that big into like tactical sort of like, oh, breach the wall kind of gameplay. I'm not really that kind of like person. But that's just me. Um, so if I'm not saying a lot, I am working on visuals for a video idea I'm doing, which again, ironically, involves Hunt Down the Freeman.
That's okay, I understand. I'm currently in a heavy situation.
I looked at the pictures. I looked at the pictures. The feet does look
When
a lot
you said
better.
that, I could only think
Yes,
of
you
a,
can, Telcha.
something from the... Okay. Sorry, whenever I hear that, I can only think of like something from an old fucking YouTube machinima series for like Resident Evil 4. It was called The Super Awesome Adventures of Hunk, and it was like this moment where it's basically a modded, what's the word? It's a modded version of, well, not modded, but it's basically Resident Evil 4 with Hunk in it. And in it, it reaches a point where he's facing up against the two anti-Mantis, in that scene, you know, with like the blast furnace and everything. And the thing that he winds up like calling Wesker for assistance, and then just says, "Wesker, there are two big guys covered in leather staring down at me. I think I'm in a gay bar."
Yeah.
They seem to be fighting the little
It's my favorite. Again, it's a stupid little series that, you know, was like at the peak of like when machinima making and doing like an almost red versus blue style animation was like the big thing basically. But it's still something that's like close to my heart. There are like just a few silly little moments that still make me laugh. Stupid things again, like the aforementioned gay bar joke. The other one where it's like they had Ramon Salazar basically being like responsible for all the shitty Hollywood video game adaptations. And he just goes, "Yes, any movie you think of, we've made, or should I say, butchered." And he's like, "You monster, what are you planning to do this time?" And he just goes, "Simple, we're going to make a Metroid movie. A movie, say basically nothing, occasionally wear spandex, and then kill things. It'll be nothing like the games." And then he just goes like, "No, that's exactly like the games." Which then leads to the whole scene with him just being like eaten by a fucking like plant. There's like, oh god. Oh, Mirror's Edge. Yeah, the 2000s to 2010 was like really was the gold age of gaming. Now that I think about it, like when gaming was fun, where you had all these great experimental game titles, especially Mirror's Edge, which is ironic because Mirror's Edge suffered the journalism bullshit back in the day, believe it or not. Hold on. Okay. The journalism bullshit back in the day, believe it or not, because they never talked about the game or like what you were going to do. They were always talking about like, oh, the beautiful aesthetic, the colors, man. Oh, you can play this game and never shoot a single shot. Oh, it's such a pacifistic game, and gamers can really learn. It's like, it was that sort of shit, basically. And I think that's what contributed to Mirror's Edge
Like
not
Undertale?
doing... As it were... Yeah, basically. They were just, like... They were just talking about, like, how... fiscal and like, whatever you want to call it, fucking Mirror's Edge 1 was. And it's like, they completely glossed over the fact that it's supposed to be a game where you're a runner, you're uncovering corruption, you're trying to save your sister from being, like, fucked over because her boss is trying to kill her even though she's, like, on the law and you're not. It's like a dystopian future where, like, everyone's being monitored and, like, you can't send information or get packages normally without it being intercepted. And that's where runners come in, they basically handle the contraband and all that shit, basically. And that was like the main point of like Mirror's Edge, and that's why a lot of people liked it. It wasn't just about the primary colors, it was also about what the game was about, basically. And like I said, they basically completely and utterly didn't give it the respect it was due. And then Mirror's Edge kind of went the way. Yeah, Undertale is good. Yeah, it basically went the way of like underrated gem, basically. Even though it was like a hit for Steam, um, it didn't go as far as it could have gone. And that's really a shame. Then Mirror's Edge Catalyst came out, and it was basically your typical open world flop, and it basically killed the franchise, which is a shame because I really did like Faith Connors. I thought she was a cool kind of like quasi-silent protagonist to a certain degree, badass woman who, like, what I loved about Mirror's Edge is that it made the fights between you and the goons somewhat realistic, because you couldn't take that many bullets before eventually, like, obviously before like dying, and she was realistic in that. The what's it called? The how she fought people was basically like she wasn't that physically stronger than like her counterpart, like the guy she's fighting, but she knows how to like use her body weight against them, basically striking at key points and bringing bigger people down just by doing that. All that sort of stuff. Basically, it was interesting to see that, and again, I liked what she was. It's just a shame that again, Mirror's Edge became sort of an underrated hit.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan?
Ratchard.
Jordan?
Ah,
When is your birthday?
November 7th. I thought you knew this.
I just want to make sure because sometimes my calendar gets it wrong.
My birthday's on the 23rd of October.
Well, I just sunk the Magna Pina ship. Game devs were built better back then. Yeah, because everyone with talent is not let into the industry, while a bunch of talentless hacks and easy disposable cannon fodder is.
yep.
That's sad.
I put it better myself.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Just game development in general.
Oh, right. Because... Say,
Yeah.
Jordan, have you ever ate a chili dog?
The
No.
feed is a good improvement.
And the stream of consciousness.
I thought you were a Sonic fan.
I'd make Star eat a chili dog for unspecified reasons.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Rap-
real Sonic fans would at least eat at least one chili dog in their life.
No,
Okay.
Star
Actually,
has
I have an honest
Zaku.
question. Yeah, an honest question, Raptor. Do you have an internal monologue at all?
Oh no.
Do I have any internal monologues? Yeah, I have like a schizo brain that comes up with crazy ideas and facts.
Okay.
Always
So
looking for
is there like
contradictions.
Contradictions
just-
about what?
You act like you're fucking playing Ace Attorney, Raptor. It's like, oh, I have to find the contradictions in every fucking case. Like, I have to think so deeply into things that I don't need to think deeply about, actually.
I'm just trying to like comedicize the mood.
I think we're fine. Obviously, maybe a little.
Man, also it's just also like a thought I had that's been itching my brain.
Itching? You mean scratching at your brain?
Same thing.
No, itching implies something completely different.
Like,
Okay.
he's itching his
Scratching my
balls.
brain.
I'm not gonna go grammar Nazi on something so pedestrian.
Oh my god, this fucking Marine won't get in. Come on, thank you. Alright,
Yes, and
we're doing a big hand job. We're gonna transport every Marine in the map all the way to the thing, and we're gonna have a massive battle. It's gonna be epic,
in the
right?
crab battle, but yeah,
Dang,
and I
almost.
agree with what everyone's saying in the chat. It's like, yeah, games you know, back in the day, they again, people did care. People wanted to see these games succeed. It wasn't just, again, hey, I'm here for a job. Like maybe it was for a few people, but there was a case for it. Because gaming wasn't really that defined in those days, you could get away with some crazy ass shit, you know? Experimentation was like the lifeblood of gaming. Nowadays, you don't get that unless it's like the indie scene. You know, like who would play something like Darkwood, for example?
YouTubers and emo kids.
You get my point. It's an odd game that no publisher would ever make, and yet, despite that, or publisher would release, and yet despite that, they said, "Fuck it, let's make it ourselves." And now Darkwood is like one of those highly acclaimed indie darlings, you know, that tells something interesting. Same with like, what's it called? Again, the aforementioned Undertale, No Straight Roads for me, all this shit basically. There is, as much as they claim that there's no market or like interest or like whatever you want to call it, like oh my god, experimental games do not get much traction. There is a hunger for it. People want to see weird and eccentric games again. People want to enjoy it instead of playing Battlefield clone number 365.
You mean
Even
Fortnite
the same thing
clone?
could be said for Hollywood.
Yes.
Would you agree, Rev? The same could be said for Hollywood, especially
Yes.
like with Markiplier's Iron Lung.
Yes. I don't know how many times I can say yes.
Good.
But no,
What?
you're not wrong.
I hope we take over Hollywood.
Well, you know what's the funny thing? I didn't expect Hollywood to be so incredibly petty towards him. Like, I'd never seen a AAA, not even AAA game companies are this petty towards, like, indie game developers. But Hollywood is incredibly petty towards indie movie directors.
Especially because they know that they're afraid is the main thing. Because they know that this is a thing that had no Hollywood backing. That is like a relatively came under the radar. There was no like big, the trailer, you know, like yeah, there was no like Hollywood. Oh, here's the trailer that basically reveals everything that's going to happen in the film before it even happens. There was no, like big celebrity behind it. That's the big thing. It was some guy from somewhere, basically. Like I obviously I know who Markiplier is, but you get what I mean. It's some guy from buttfuck nowhere, at least as far as Hollywood cares, whose only claim to fame is a YouTube celebrity, and made a movie that shat on everything else that Hollywood has ever made, and they ran shitless about it because they knew that this film flies in the face of everything. It proves that you don't need yeah, Hollywood went to shit after that. Yeah, no, I agree. It proves that you don't need political messaging bullshit. You don't need a like a producer for this. You don't need to blow out your budget or redefine the movie or do whatever fucking bullshit they claim you need to do. You know, there's none of that whatsoever. It's of what's the word? It is a film that came out that succeeded at what it wanted to say, which was basically, hey, I want to, I want to tell a story about a giant sea monster, and it went with it. Again, that's the thing they hate. It's the fact that it's a video game movie, B, it didn't have any of the Hollywood trappings, and C, it did fucking gangbusters.
People in Hollywood do
Something
not respect
that-
video games at all. So that's why it would piss them off.
No, they don't. Exactly.
Oh, that
Because-
is a gamer, that a gamer person wrote that movie.
A gamer person wrote that movie, starred in it, directed in it. There was no.
And he hired like non like expensive actors. Like he did hire voice actors that are known for like voice roles to be like Troy Baker's in the movie. I looked at like the credits. Yeah, I looked at the casting, and I didn't even expect him to be in the movie because like he's mainly a voice actor, and I think this is his first like live action acting role in his career.
I wouldn't be surprised, honest to God, that because of what he did, or what Markiplier did, I wouldn't be surprised if Kojima himself didn't come to him and say, "I want to make a movie with you."
Can Kojima even write horror?
He can.
Silent, I don't think he made Silent Hill, no.
He made PT, and we all remember how terrifying that was.
Wish they didn't get canceled though.
But yes, the whole thing just basically shows and puts a giant spotlight of shame on Hollywood as an entity altogether, and they hate that. They legitimately hate that, and good on him for doing that, in my opinion. Anyhow.
Oh.
That's all I can really say on the matter.
I think the Falcon just picked up the other Marines. They're not here. Oh, they did half the job. Oh, there's one stowaway, 2 stowaways here. Come on in. Come in, friend. You have rocket launchers. So essentially, I'm just getting all the Marines in the map, and then I'm just going to bust them to the extraction point, so they'll this takes forever to do, and in future maps I'll make it easier. But I'm doing this so the player can just, it's just going to be so easy if I do this. It's just like they can't do shit, because all the Marines will just be spamming rockets.
Come on and join the convoy. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I do have,
It's late,
unfortunately,
yeah.
work in the morning, but it was nice. It was nice hanging out with everyone.
Have a good night, man.
Bear with me a moment, because I just have this thing open. It'll take me a second to get the call and leave it. Oh no, wait, I'm an idiot. I can just open it on my other phone and then just immediately get out of the call. Sorry about that. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See ya.
See ya.
Current Hollywood lost its footing due to streaming comps just buying content like TV does. Okay. Yeah.
As I was.
Hey Jordan, you should make a Surge the 10 rec model for your universe.
What do you mean?
You know how you like make the female models for your animations?
Yeah. So you want to humanize?
You should make a Surge one.
You want to humanize Surge?
Not really. No. Like you just make Surge, but give her like the female body type of your characters.
I've already done that.
Of your female characters.
I've already done that for a series me and Rev worked on.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
As she actually has the same voice that Star has. But she, it's weird because you're hearing Star be mean, which is, usually she's not like that. I know I want her to appear in my Shadow the Hedgehog mod as well for Halo, so... Current Hollywood is so far up its ass chasing its tail, need to get... Yeah. I think the only success we'll see is from indies. Like, independent people. I mean, you look at my Halo mod here, right? Does Free for Free let you do this in Halo Infinite? No, they don't. There's no water combat.
No, or females.
Yeah, and I have those in my mods, so,
All we need is, I guess, female elites to the mix. Yeah, things would be pretty cool.
so,
And maybe female brutes too. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah. Okay, here we go. Back here, have some marines. So we have 1, 2. Feels like I'm counting the shrimp I just got too. Wait, let me check on. Okay, I think they're doing okay. I gave them some flakes because they like crushed down flakes. So maybe I should also give them some algae too. All right, now I'm going to get these guys offloaded. If only I added a script so it unloads them for me, but I didn't do that. I already made female brutes, says Talcha.
Cool.
Oh my god, these fucking marines. Get off the Falcon, you're being dropped off here. I was working on a mod that was just about being a dropship, but oh great, it has a black screen bug that crashes if you try to play the mod. And I'll show that after I'm done this, because I want to show what I'm talking about. Oh, fuck. Yes, please get out. Alright, stay there. Now there's one last marine, I believe, that we have to save. And then this is like the first time I've done it on the nighttime version of the map. Well, actually... No, the APC! The APC was blown up. It was coming to shore to help us. It would have made this a lot easier too, because it comes up here. Alright. So there's one last marine for us to save. And we'll go to him. That should be everyone. Now we just gotta fly all the way over to the marine. And if only we had the Sparrowhawk, because the Sparrowhawk's actually faster.
Yeah, that's my favorite song piece in Combat Evolved. The Lost Muse.
Really?
Jordan, you need to eat a chili dog.
And as I was saying earlier, yeah, that the fix to the Elite's foot is a real improvement.
Well, I think Talcha would be happy to hear
Now
that.
there's... Yeah, all the Elites now, all they need now is smoother skin and the removal of those scales. It's just my opinion. They don't look like reptiles to me. That's just 343 making them obvious in their version of Halo. Just as it's obvious that brutes are giant monkeys, which I'm not a fan of. They're supposed to be... Okay, I'm going to look up that word again because it's hard to remember and pronounce. I think it's still up here.
Here's the final marine.
Okay, just let me scroll to the top. Yes, I miss the brutes being...
Are you talking to Cairo?
Yeah,
I was kind of sad because he was talking about, he brought up about like the search results, and I got a little like upset because I was like, damn it, that's what she's known for. But I talked to Rev about it, and he was telling me like if I just keep making like Halo mods with her in it and keep making animations, and I was thinking this too, that maybe it'll, you know, make the search results be more accurate to what I want for the character going forward, you know?
Yeah,
I don't know, I made a few mistakes when I was underage, you know, just fucking dumb things. Just wanted people to like my characters, and I expressed that in the wrong way.
Haven't we all done things when we were young?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess that's
pseudo
true.
Urzine.
Do you have the
Yeah, I
ability to
miss the
modify
brutes being-
vehicle values in the editor in the Halo modding kit? Yes, I do.
Excuse me. I miss the brutes being in their pseudo Urzine design. AKA, they look like dogs with no ears and have teeth, bear jaw. That's the brutes I miss.
Alright, I'm ready to start the extraction. Alright, let's see how this plays
Yeah,
out.
someone in that live chat can agree, probably. I hope. Now, I know people in that live chat can agree that the brutes and Reach do suck. That was basically the start of the brutes having terrible designs. Can you agree, Ratter?
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Can you repeat yourself?
Halo Reach was the start of the brutes having terrible designs.
Their designs were terrible in Reach.
I mean, the armor was good. It's just the phenotype was bad.
Yeah, especially when the spiker like fucking sucked.
Oh yeah, it had an overheat mechanic. I mean, I liked the model, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of the overheat.
It did like dog shit damage.
And the brutes acted kind of retarded in that game too.
Yeah.
Urgh. Terrible.
So Jordan,
Yeah.
when are you gonna eat a chili dog?
I don't know.
It's really easy to make. Just buy like hot dog and like chili. Okay, do you know how to cook meat?
Yeah?
What kind of question is that?
Okay, what you're gonna need to do is buy yourself some ground meat, ground beef, and beans. No wait, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Just buy like canned beans, I guess. Tomato canned beans.
Cool, you can play with speed values. Yeah, I mean, for the next map, Abra, but I'd definitely make this process a lot easier. So, first of all, I'd probably add in a system so you could choose to get the Marines to be, like, teleported and just placed into Falcons and they just come in here. I think that'd be... But at the time, I was like... I was really rushing to get this map done, I remember. Oh, that Falcon just looks beautiful in the night sky. Do I have... Hey, you may wanna... Can you take this rocket launcher? It only has one bullet left, mister. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, pseudo Urzine. Yep, I missed that brute design.
Oh, they're dropping off
You have a strange word.
Shadewalkers.
You have a strange word, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah.
I think that word is supposed to represent the family of bears, I guess. I mean, in my head canon, I already made those like 3 different. I mean, they're not really subspecies. They're just like they're just like different dog breeds, basically.
Damn, I think we lost a Marine. We lost one. Oh yeah, we did lose one. Fuck. Hey, idiot, you may want to use your damn gun. Not stand right here. Help, mister.
There needs to be a mod where you can actually heal your Marines so they don't have to get killed.
Well, Odalin Shan made a healing plasma pistol, so maybe that can be it.
Whoa, that's a cool idea.
Well, he literally replaced the plasma pistol with EMP with a heal. So,
Yeah, I posted 3 pictures in the voice chat.
I'm glad you like it. I'll let him know.
Look like in general.
Gotta go. Okay, see you around.
I'm gonna, Jordan, I'm gonna instruct you how to make one. So what you're gonna do is when you go to the groceries, you buy some ground beef and tomato beans, because making actual beans is like a lot of would be really difficult. So, do you also have seasonings in your house?
Yes, I make pasta all the time.
Alright, so here's what you're gonna do. And do you also have, soy sauce?
Yes. I use it in rice sometimes
Alright,
if I'm in
so
the mood for it.
Okay, so, and you know how to make a hot dog, right?
Yeah. What are these types of questions?
Okay, so first, no, I just want to make so I'm giving you instructing you how to make a chili dog. So what you want to do is you get the ground beef, add some seasonings to it, mainly like onion and garlic seasonings. You can dice up some peppers as well. You can dice up some sweet peppers and add it to the grounded meat as well, if you want. Mix it up. And a little secret ingredient, add a pinch of brown sugar. Actually, no, like half a teaspoon of brown sugar. That's a secret ingredient. And then, no, wait, fuck, I forgot the chili part.
I hope people likes my idea of the brutes in the voice chat thing I posted.
Yeah, I've seen it many times before, so I know. Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck, I forgot how to make chili sauce.
I am
Oh,
so
man, a gold
thankful
Zelda.
for this general purpose machine gun having a shield on it, because it blocks the plasma.
Oh yay, I'm getting ready to play 343 Guilty Spark again.
Well, we lost the Falcon.
I tried to set me up a Slayer match, but no one would join, so I'm
You know,
kinda
take it
sad.
back, the chili dog's a lot more difficult for you to make.
You see what I
You
mean?
just buy one at a store then.
Maybe it's the worst times during the night, that's probably why. It was like the afternoon. I could have probably brought in a lot of players, so yeah, maybe I need to start doing that in the afternoon.
It's 2 a.m., Corey. Oh, fuck.
Oh, I know. I didn't get out of the bed till like 12 o'clock. So I practically ruined my sleep. Oh, I'm just glad to be finally done with those songs I was playing. Thank God. Ready for some new things to do.
Oh, that's a super phantom. What the fuck? Oh, shit. Guys, fall back! Fall back!
I think it'd be cool if they made Avidus the Thrall Slayer as Brood Armor. That'd be pretty good for an addition.
I need to turn up the volume for this part. It's going to be good to hear the music.
What kind of music is it, Jordan?
It's, by Insane and the Rain music. It's good. It's ODST stuff.
Can't believe that picture.
Three for three Desert Spark has an awesome atmosphere. I will give Campaign Evolved credit. They actually made the swamp dark and creepy as it was in the Combat Evolved Lucky version. I will give them credit on that. I know the Forerunner architecture is still going to be bright and chrome and new. Like, it wasn't abandoned for almost 500,000 years. Yeah. Still dumb. 343 does that. Bungie always be better with their corner architecture. The structures look unique, but everything is flat and stone different. That's how I like it. No, I really do like this brute chief from Halo Legends.
This is beautiful.
I think I wouldn't mind having Avitus wear this type of helmet. Almost looks like the Brute Miner helmet, but a lot more unique.
SJJ VR. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still looking into it. It's just I'm very busy with a lot of projects right now. And this is one of my mods I'm playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tomorrow I have to work on the
I'm gonna go
Amelia
get me something to
animation.
drink. I'll be right back.
SJJVR, I said that I'm too busy to actually work on it right now. And I only have an elite and a plasma rifle in the dev kit. And listen, I don't know how to actually import custom weapon animations into Halo. I mean, to Arc, not Halo. I know for Arc, it's just such a complex process that I'd have to figure out. And no one has, like, made a tutorial on how to do it. I think it can be done, but... was actually kind of cool. Well, I'm glad he liked it. I worked hard on that ending. I'm just gonna go get some water. I'll be right back.
Okie dokie. Hey, Rat Turd.
Yep.
You think 343 Guilty Spark and Combat Evolve is a great horror ever made?
Guilty Spark and C. Oh yeah, that thing that was. Oh yeah, that core thing that was killed in Halo 3.
Well, I mean,
What about it?
I ain't talking about the. You didn't like Combat Evolve?
No, I just kept postponing it. The
Oh,
only Halo
so
game. Halo games I always played was the final level of 3, Reach, and 4, and Infinite Multiplayer.
well, I can tell you, Rat Turd, you just gotta play Combat Evolve the whole.
Yeah, I know. I just keep postponing it. I don't know why.
I mean, especially play the level 3.3 Guilty Spark, which is the Flood's very first introduction, which is perfectly well done.
Mm-hmm.
I used to like playing Halo 2 a lot, but I'll just say I'm practically tired of playing the vanilla version of it. It's like the elites in Combat Evolve look so damn cool. And when they made Halo 2, they literally just made the elites from Combat Evolve. How can I put this? What we had in the beginning was very cool and unique, but then they just made them kind of bland. They lacked the cool helmet, shoulder, wrist armors they had. Then Halo 2 just made them all just default by the first model and just bland. You think that's kind of disappointing? And the elites in Halo 3. I will say, I like the helmets and the shoulder armor for each variant. I'm just not too hipped on their armor design and their slightly longer necks. Yeah. I think when they transferred to 360, they decided to just overblow designs, I guess. Like, the Marines look good. The Jackals, okay, they actually did look cool, but they had, like, weird eyes. Like the Jackal's eyes in Halo 3, they actually look like glowing balls.
I'm back. Glowing balls. Glowing balls.
Yeah, the Jackals in the Jackals in Halo 3, their eyes, they look like glowing light bulbs. That's what they look like.
39 brute.
And Halo Reach basically took the Jackals from Halo 3, and I would say they perfected the models. And yeah, the Jackals look absolutely fantastic at the end of the day. And the Skirmishers too. The Tavoans. Oh.
SJJVR.
And I shot the Crazy Marine.
Well, I told you already about how I just don't have the time to work on the Halo mod for Arc right now. And even if I did, it wouldn't look as good because you can't import custom weapon animations, or at least I don't know how to in Arc. And that's the main reason I kind of put it on hiatus. You know what's cool about my bamboo shrimp, Corey? It filter feeds. Which means that I just have to dump, like, algae
Really?
stuff in the tank, and then it just, like, uses its, like, fan hands to catch it. Like, that's what they're doing right now, and they're only active during the night, so that's cool.
Gotcha. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I was saying that I just don't like playing vanilla Halo 2 anymore.
You need to get your computer. and start
Especially
modding.
basically looking at the elites in Combat Evolved, like they were so unique. And when they done Halo 2, they just made the elites just bland. The only thing that was good with Halo 2 was the counselors, the honor guards, the rangers, and the heretic elites. Maybe those additions was probably the reason why the elites had to take a bland approach, like the regular ones. I wonder if people in the chat agrees that the Spec Ops elites that we found in Combat Evolved, like them being like Onyx Black, I think those are better off being the Spec Ops elites by official, besides of just being purple in Halo 2.
Corey, what's Master Chief's favorite food?
I do not know. He probably doesn't really eat a lot.
I guess he just eats food like military rations.
That and probably regular food he would find on a colony world next to the places he was stationed, I guess. Probably something of nutrition, mostly.
Can you eat?
I mean, he could probably eat anything, but he probably mostly sticks with stuff that's healthy based.
The female saying Healy is just a meme.
Oh yeah, reminds me of that picture someone shared me before. On the left side is what people think they are, and the right side is what they actually look like. As I told one friend, it's okay to choose the left one because the right one is pretty weird. And 343 is all about the weirdness. And by the way, if female elites are going to have like dreadlock appendages for hair, them dreadlocks have to do something. Like, them dreadlocks would have to serve some type of biological purpose.